AITAH to expose my father and stepmother to the whole family on my 20th birthday. I am a 20-year-old woman who is having conflicts with my stepmother and father. My parents divorced when I was 10, and my father married the woman he cheated with. For background, my parents have 3 children. My sister B, now 26, my brother D, now 25, and me, now 20. My parents lived like brother and sister. My mother abused my sister for the stupidest reasons. For instance, we were going to my grandmother's, and B and D had a fight, nothing serious, just a sibling argument, and my mother sat on my sister's back for 20 minutes. B was 15, my mother was 30, while my brother, 14 at the time, got away with everything. He was the golden child. When I was 10, my mother found out that my father had cheated, and they divorced. It didn't affect me much at the time. But then I met my father's then girlfriend, who was nice and had 2 sons. I then 16 and J then 14. Everything was fine until B and D moved out. I lived 1 week with my mother and the next week with my father. Everything was fine at my mother's place. But at my father's, it was awful. I had to sleep on the couch all week because there wasn't enough room for 3 children. Initially, it wasn't bad, but I ended up sleeping on the couch for 5 years, which gave me severe back pain. Besides that, they only saw my faults. So, I decided to live with my mother when I was 15. Everything was fine until my 16th birthday when my father organized a party for me and wanted me to move back and alternate weeks again. He promised to make a room for me. So, I went back to alternating weeks, but a year passed and no room had been made. I thought I'd wait, maybe they didn't have money for a room. When I turned 18, I went to university to study public relations, but I still lived with my parents since it wasn't far away. However, I still didn't have a room. When I turned 20, I had a big party with both my mother's and father's families, and they asked what I was thankful for. I could have said anything, but I decided to mention that I still didn't have a room. I was 20 with no privacy. My family was very angry with my father and stepmother. Even my stepbrothers were angry, although they had never said anything because whenever they asked about it, they got the answer that there was no money. But there was enough money for expensive vacations. I left with my mother, and since then, I've been getting messages and phone calls from my father and stepmother. Trailsia. NTA. It's disgusting they made you live on their couch, especially as a kid. I would stop visiting them, and they deserved being exposed for how shitty they were. Story to AITAH for not wanting to share my daughter's birthday. So I really don't think I'm here. My 29F sister 28F lately has been taking it upon herself to organize family dinners for quality time. She's newly married, so I don't know if it's a nesting thing or what. Saturday is my daughter's birthday, and I organized a party for her. She's turning 4, and I invited everyone. My sister decided to organize a dinner right after the party for Mother's Day, so she doesn't have to, in her own words, drive all that way twice. She lives 30 minutes away. Anyway, she made the reservation. She told us. I said, sorry, no, that's my daughter's birthday, and even if her party is over at that time, we are going home and my daughter is going to enjoy her entire birthday. She's 4, so I'm sure she will want to go home and open all her new toys, and they don't need me there if they want to do their Mother's Day time with our mom the same day. I can see our mom on actual Mother's Day. For some background, they do this a lot. My sister's son 8M gets the whole family at his soccer games, but no one comes to my daughter's gymnastics. I made big plans for Easter, which included inviting them to an Easter fair specific to kids with sensory issues. My daughter is autistic. They showed up late, missed the entire hunt, and left after only a few minutes because everyone made plans for the zoo last minute, and then guilted me for not wanting to go. They treat my daughter like being little and autistic means she's incapable of getting her feelings hurt, or that she's not able to see when they're doing this. She has babysat for me literally barely a handful of times. When her son was little, I watched him constantly while she went out. My in-laws' family knew him better than her in-laws, because I was always forced to either bring him with me or cancel plans. She left me with him, after I said no, at my own bridal shower because she had a date with her now husband. Anyway, it turned into a huge argument with my family. My sister left the family group chat. I got called selfish by literally everyone. Apparently my sister was making some kind of announcement at this dinner, and her husband was busy on actual Mother's Day. I said, I don't care. Pick a day that's not my kid's birthday. I'm busy the whole day, not just the length of the party. No one is speaking to me now, and likely no one is coming to my daughter's birthday at all. Update. Thank you everyone for all the support. It makes me feel a lot better, especially since the smear campaign is still ongoing. I blocked the number of the main FM my older brother, 40, canceled the arcade reservation, and decided to take the few people who were coming to Knott's Berry Farm. The price shakes out to about the same, and I can contact their accessibility department for resources and guides for the special needs kids. I think this is going to go way better. My mom is ditching the Mother's Day dinner for her and coming with us because she said my daughter's birthday is more important than another Mother's Day, so I'm feeling really good about that. Second update. Had my sister and nephew moved off my phone bill, she can pay for their service from now on. FM brother is still in his screeching, but both of them are blocked from contacting me. I feel sad that this limits her on family, but no family is better than a family that forces you to always take last place and tells you to be happy about it. I definitely know that. Last update. My sister was indeed pregnant. You guessed it, Reddit. I didn't ask for any details on the dinner, but my daughter had a great time at Knott's. She was excited the whole time, and I found out she's a little bit of a daredevil. She ended up a little overstimulated by 2:30, and she climbed into the wagon and just relaxed for a bit and then fell asleep shortly after, and we headed home. All three autistic kids who went had an absolute blast, and a special thank you again to the users who gave me the tips. Knott's was great with their accessibility options. They even let us bring in food for one kid's special diet, and they also gave the kids fast access to the rides so they didn't get agitated waiting in the lines. So she was able to ride all of the rides she was big enough for, and I have a lot of pictures of my little one with a huge grin on her face. A Girl 1985. They sound ableist. The sister's child gets the whole day, but anytime Op's daughter has something, everyone has other plans. They are very clearly dismissing one kid totally, and I don't think it's coincidental it's the autistic kid. I be going NC. They're not treating your child right. They are very much othering her and making it seem like she's a burden. Hopefully she's too young yet to really grasp that, but I distance myself before she does. Your child doesn't need these people around. They may technically be family, but they sure as hell don't act like it. NTA. Please stop subjecting yourself and your child to this mistreatment. Maybe try building a stronger relationship with your in-laws, they sound better. AITAH for not letting my mother-in-law gift my yet-to-be-born daughter her middle name. I 34F and my husband John 35M are expecting our daughter in a couple weeks. We're excited and terrified at the same time. This does involve my mill, but I wanted to isolate this one issue. As in, pretend that there isn't a whole history of said mill. Here, Molly, jumping over boundaries like she's one of those buzz dogs you see in those Westminster agility competitions. John is Molly's eldest child. He has 2 sisters. This will be our first child, and Malafil's first grandchild. I didn't have an elaborate baby shower, and for reasons I won't get into, it was mostly with my side of the family, a few friends. Molly did attend briefly and gave me a nice seat. Thingy, forgive me. I'm not even new at this yet. Very recently, Molly threw me a celebration. She told me it was not a baby shower, it was more like a tea party with her side of the family. I said okay, whatever. I thought it was an attempt to make up for the baby shower shenanigans. So by this time, John and I had chosen to name our daughter, and this is a pseudonym, Daisy May. We loved how the names clicked together. Daisy was on both our lists, and May, well, this is kind of stupid. When I was little, I loved the name May. I named my dolls May, would write stories about May, chose that as my pretend name, etc. It's silly, but I like connecting that girlhood part of me to my daughter. John loved the idea too. We were going to keep the name secret, but John leaked the first name to his mom, so I had to tell mine. The man keeps lawyer-client secrets like a vault, but can't help but exclaim, "Oh, it'll be so cool for Daisy," in front of his mother. We asked them to keep it close. Well, at this tea party, Molly gave me a large wrapped gift box along with a speech about how it's a tradition in John's family that if the eldest son has daughters, the grandmother of those daughters gifts them their middle names. Excuse me, what? I'm surrounded by like 50 women, and they're all nodding Stepfordly. I don't have the spoons for this, so I just opened the box. There are a bunch of blankets and stuff with Daisy Flora embroidered on them, so I guess everyone knows the first name now. I go through the motions to get to the party's end. Molly says that I seem upset. I tell her that John didn't tell me of the tradition and that I want to discuss it with him before saying anything further. Molly was unenthused by my response. I come home with some thoughts. John was flabbergasted. He'd never heard of this tradition but supposes it's possible. I told him that while I respect Molly as family, we made a choice as parents, and I loved that choice. I was insistent. We told Molly no to Flora, and she is beyond upset. Here's the thing, I don't hate her choice. I know I could actually grow to love Daisy Flora. I feel part of me is refusing to adopt the name because of past resentment towards Molly. It's just a middle name after all. I'm so used to establishing boundaries that maybe I don't know when I'm the asshole fencing myself in. AITAH, I have since seen some family heirloom things like this fancy Bible that John's great-grandmother gave to Molly's brother's daughter, her granddaughter, inscribed with something like, I gift you the middle name Elizabeth yada yada, and some other fancy ancestry.com stuff, so I think it's a legit tradition. A weird one, but legit. Last AITAH, from posting this and reading all your insightful and sometimes downright hilarious comments, it really made me think about the turn of events. So, I decided to speak with my one decent sil. She told me, in a whisper that had me feeling like she thought the CIA was tapping the phone, that Molly had expected us to announce the pregnancy at one of the family dinners Don't Ask as was usually done, where Molly would have certainly informed us of the tradition. Maybe by a herald. Or Princess Catherine. However, since we did the unforgivable thing of inviting all parents and siblings over for an informal brunch at our home to announce, she did not have the occasion to do so. Moreover, since Molly felt her family was not adequately involved in the baby shower or baby preparation events and lack thereof, she did not feel as though there was an appropriate time and place to announce the tradition and the naming gift other than at the tea party, that she had to plan herself and fit in at the last minute. All of this is my fault. Apparently her whole family sympathizes. John still swears he never heard of this. I can't with this man of mine. Also, 2 middle names are not acceptable. This was brought up during the conversation where we told her no to Flora. Her exact reasoning and logic were not available at that time,